What's up, everybody? See who's here. See who's here. What's up? What's up? Alan, Steven. I don't know if you guys have been here. We're here earlier. If so, I do apologize. I wanted to give it some time so that people can finish work and finish their day, which is why I'm doing it now. And so I hope you guys don't mind and gals don't mind. But this was a huge win. It really was a huge win for the Yankees. And what can I say? I mean, Sanchez came through. They needed this win really, really badly. And Chris, big time, big W, huge W, bro. Huge. And they needed it to stay in this race, man. I didn't have a good feeling. Once the Twins got up 5-0, and the Yankees bats weren't really doing anything. But I gotta tell him, I gotta give it to Hill. He showed me something today. He stayed in it. And even though he got hit, gave up some home runs, he was in the strike zone. And at last time he pitched, he had 7 walks, and it was awful. Today he only had 1 walk. He had 8 strikeouts. So even though he gave up a couple of home runs and got hit pretty good, he was at least locating the ball around the plate. So his command was better. He was attacking today. They just hit him. But he settled down after a couple of bad pitches here and there and hung in there. It gave him 6 innings. And 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. Heaney came in, pitched well, 1 2/3, and then gave up a hit, a walk, and a couple strikeouts. So he looked pretty solid today. Abreu came in, only pitched a third of an inning, and it was clean. And Chapman came in, averted trouble, but he got out of the inning in the 9th. So thankfully, and, that was a relief. That was a relief. And then Clay Holmes came in the 10th and threw a clean 10th. And then, Sanchez came up big, man. He came up big. So, Lori, how are you? Aaron, what's up? Judge was super clutch today, Lori. Super duper clutch. He's been clutch quite a bit. Him and Stanton have been clutch quite a bit this season. So I'm really happy that both of them are doing that. I really am. And it's good to see it. I'm glad Sanchez came up clutch. He's been so unpredictable and just so inconsistent, especially on the defensive side. It was good to see him get a win for the Crew. I mean, offensive-wise, Twins struck first, Polanco 2-run shot, Sano 2-run shot, both off of Hill. Buxton solo home run in the 3rd, also off Hill. So he gave up 3 home runs, but then he settled in pretty solid for the next 3 innings and gave up zeros. So DJ put him on the board in the 6th with an RBI sac fly, made it 5-1. Gallo with a nice solo home run to make it 5-2 in the 7th. And then in the 8th, Judge tied it up, baby, with that opposite field 3-run shot to make it 5-5. Phenomenal. And the crowd just erupted. The whole vibe of the game changed. The whole energy level changed right there. And people were just right back in it. Right back in the game, right back in the fight. And it was so good to see. And like I said, I think last night I think woke up some of the Yankees. And I'm hoping that, they use this as a motivational tool to kind of keep fighting moving forward. So, and then obviously Sanchez walked it off in the 10th to make it 6-5 for the Yankees. So huge win. They absolutely needed a win. To stay in this wild card race. And now they've got Baltimore. So hoping that they feast on Baltimore. They got Cleveland after. They should be feasting on Baltimore and Cleveland, in all honesty. So, and I hope that they do. I really hope that they do. So, Holmes was a great trade, Laurie. You're absolutely right. And he came up. He had a good inning. He's been reliable. He's been consistent. He's got hit a few times, but 90% of the time so far of his games here, he's been really good. So that was a good trade. And that was under the radar. I never even heard of him before the Yankees got him, to be honest with you. And I never heard of Joely Rodriguez either before the Yankees got him. So, but I'm glad they got both because they have been stalwarts in the bullpen. They got hit a few times each, but they've been reliable more often than they have not been. So, and again, coming up with Britton down and O'Day out and just so much uncertainty and injury in the bullpen, those guys have been key cogs here. So I'm just hoping that Chad Green, turns it around. One of the problems, and I said this in some other videos, is that the starters were, with the exception of Cole, they were not really going deep into past the 4th inning early on in the season for almost the first half of the season. So it put a lot of pressure on the bullpen. The guys had to be overused and play multiple innings, multiple games, and so on. So I think Chad Green's a little gassed, to be honest with you. And I think he needs a little bit of a break. That's my honest opinion, because he's still throwing 97, 98, but he's not locating them. They don't have the movement, so it shows that he's got a tired arm. So, and so it's not that he stinks. It's just, I personally think he's overused and he's tired. So, and again, it's overused by necessity. The starters were the weak spot early in the season, and the bullpen was the strong spot, and then it's the other way around now. So, and it is what it is. But I'm hoping that he can kind of get a little bit of rest and then come up strong for the rest of the season, hopefully heading into the postseason. Johnny Lasagna, he's just on the 10-day IL. As far as I know, he's still on track, returning. So it should be in a couple days. We'll see. I had no other details aside from that. The 10-day IL was supposed to be just 10 days. So I'm hoping that it's 10 days. I hope that it's not more. But these pitching injuries, you never know. It could be 2 weeks, could be more than that. So I'm really hoping that it's not. So, Jameson, he's another one on the 10-day IL. So he should be back for his next start as well. He's got a partial tear in an ankle ligament. So, but it's not necessarily debilitating. It's better than having an elbow or a shoulder rotator cuff problem. So this is something he can work around. So, I'm confident that, this is also good, I think, for Tyon, because he's given his arm a rest. He's another one coming back after 2 years of no pitching and throwing like 150 innings. He's getting tired arm too. So, and he had that dry spell about a month ago where he was just off. He's kind of coming back now, but he's another one. I just don't want to overuse the guy, and that was my fear with Kluber. That was my fear with Severino, and like a bunch of them, which is why I keep pushing Severino for the bullpen. And Kluber, I don't know what we're going to get out of him. Hopefully, with a couple more starts, he'll build up his arm strength again, throw some consistency. But I don't know. I'm not sure if he's going to make the postseason roster, to be honest. I really don't. I'm not confident in it, because who's he going to replace? He's not going to replace Nestor or Cole or Montgomery or he's not going to replace those guys, or Tyon. It's not going to happen. So my guess is if he is in the bullpen, it would be long relief. Urshela is reeling. He's slumping, man. NYC Rod. He's slumping, man. He really is. He's reeling. And personally, and I've said this with guys like when a starter's kind of reeling and not performing, you play the guys who were performing. Odor was playing pretty well. He had a couple defensive lapses because he's not a natural third baseman, but he was playing well when Gio was out, just like Velasquez was playing well when Torres was out. So, and if Gio's not performing at this stage in the game, you put Odor in, put Tyler Wade in. Like you use these guys, and and he's got to get it right. Until he gets it right, then he's not in the lineup. And yeah. Thinking, dude, Toronto is on en fuego, like ridiculous fire. They're on fire. It's again, and you knew at some point that was going to happen because of they're so good and they're so talented. And you knew they were going to catch fire at some point. So, and it's not at a good time for us, but what are you going to do? It is what it is. So, and well, yeah, that's good to hear, Alan. It's good to hear Tyon's not having any issues, and hopefully he'll be back again for his next start, just like Cole. Apparently I think he's on track to start tomorrow, if all goes well. So, and I could see, I hope they both come back. So, a new shortstop this winter, NYC. Who would you get, NYC? I'm out of curiosity. I just did a video recently about rebuilding the Yankees. I had some ideas on shortstop and first baseman, and if you guys and gals haven't seen it, take a look. It's in the description. I think you'll find it interesting because there's a lot of different ways they can go for short and first, but I think they're kind of linked. They link to each other and as well, and I think both positions need a commitment of some sort in this offseason, whether it be continuing agreeing like, okay, it's either going to be Volpe or Peraza for shortstop, right? So you bring in a stopgap like Andrelton Simmons, not great with the bat, but he's a defensive god. If there's any way you can get Trevor Story on a 1 or 2 year deal, as I did hear that, rumblings that he might be amenable to that, then obviously you go for Story because his bat's much better than Simmons, and he's a really good defender too. And Marcus Semien, I don't think that's going to happen. I originally thought he would have been a nice stopgap, but he's played his way into a longer-term contract. So, and he deserves he's rightfully so. He deserves to get a good contract. The other guys are all going to get long, big deals. So, Correa is going to get paid. Seager's going to get paid. They're both probably going to get 8-year deals minimum with boatloads of money. Baez will get paid too, but I hope the Mets re-sign him and then they never win the World Series. So that's what I hope. Him and Lindor never get a ring. But hate sounded like a Mets hater, but after the way they behaved the other day, they deserve it. So yeah, a stopgap until Volpe, Lori. That's one of the options, or they pick up, they do a long-term solution like Corey Seager or Carlos Correa or one of these guys, Story or one of them. And so that's option B. Otherwise, they can, they either stick with Torres or they move him to second like they did. And we've been talking about this for a while, moving him to second and Gio to short and DJ to third. I've said it almost every other day. Like, I'm glad they started doing it now. I don't know what took them so long, but Gio's got much better range at shortstop than Torres does. So I could see that working. And then what happens is they figure out what to do at first, whether it was Voit or Rizzo. And if they decide to go without either, then you have DJ, you move over to first, and you sign a third baseman. So there's so many. That's why these options are kind of directly linked to each other, first base and shortstop. So they have to figure out what the best options are. And I'm hoping that they're looking at all options possible and reaching out to people. So I just hope they make the right decision. Seager's, I like Seager. He's going to cost a boatload. He's lefty. He's going to cost a ton. So, and again, Volpe's, the way he's playing, he's developing extremely well. They are set for a long time up the middle. The Yankees farm, excuse me, with Volpe and Trey Sweeney, who they just drafted, and the new international draft picks that are coming up the ladder, and they're set up the middle for quite some time, but which is good because they can use them as either a player to keep calling up and move up to the big club, or move in big trades or something like that. So they have a lot of good depth in the up the middle position plays. So a lot of good depth there. Nicholas, my guess, I do think they're going to entertain offers for Torres this offseason. And if they move him, then it changes things. Because then they have to bring in a shortstop because Volpe's not ready yet for the majors. Oswald Peraza, they called him up, so he is more major league ready than Volpe, but Volpe's ceiling is much higher. He's progressing like a rocket ship, shooting up the system. So, but I wouldn't want to rush him prematurely either. So, we don't want a situation like that. And if you can keep developing to where he becomes something like a Fernando Tatis type player, then that's what you do. You be patient and you wait. So that's what I would do. Seager. I like Seager's lefty bat. He has power. He's a clutch hitter, especially in the postseason. So he's got a lot of intangibles that check a lot of boxes. I would still be calling the Reds about Castillo, no doubt about it. This is the thing with Gleyber Torres. I only personally move him or Voit for starting pitching or in a trade for somebody like Matt Olson from the A's. That's the only way. If I'm trading for a first baseman and move one of those guys, that's the only guy I trade for. The only person. He's better than all of them combined. So he's a superstar. And the A's are not going to pay him big money. And he's only 27, so he's solid. I don't know, Mike. I'm not sure. I'm waffling like 50-50 on whether Boone's going to stay or go. I really don't know. It's crazy because when they're winning 100 games, and I said this the other day too, when they're winning 100 games 2 years in a row with Boone, the players got all the credit. Now that they're losing, Boone's getting all the blame and not the players. So it's kind of interesting how that logic works for so many folks. But that's baseball, and that's also New York. New York is a harsh crowd, man. They're very just knowledgeable fans and passionate fans, and they can be unforgiving at times. I'm one of them too, so. That's us, man. Jason Dominguez, I hope that they continue to nurture him and develop him. He's starting to find his groove now, and he'll move up the system pretty quickly as well. NYY News, Simonetti, thank you, sir. I appreciate that, man. I really, really appreciate that. And love to have you on one day, man. If maybe we can do something together. I think it'd be a lot of fun, Simonetti. So you let me know, and I'll reach out to you. And that'd be a lot of fun, man. You're one of my favorite Yankee and baseball channels, so I appreciate you coming on. The Rays, Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is what we need, right? The Rays to lose, we're not going to catch. We need Toronto to lose, and we need freaking Boston to lose, right? You know, because again, we want the Yankees to win the first wild card spot, so they have home field advantage. I don't want it the other way around. I don't want to play in Toronto. I don't want to play at Fenway Park and have to face Chris Sale. Like, I don't want it. No, hell no, no. I'd rather be Yankee Stadium with Gerrit Cole in the mound. That's it. That's it. No. Daniel, Mets. Oh, the Mets had a good series against the Yankees. I mean, I'll give them that. But you know, it is what it is. I'm not a Mets hater, but they, I don't think they conducted themselves really well the other day. But that's just it's in the past. So, who do I think is better, Lou or Anthony? Lou or Anthony? Anthony. Yeah. My favorite play or player? My favorite player on the Yankees is Gerrit Cole. And my favorite offensive player is Giancarlo Stanton. I like Stanton. He gets a lot of he's one of the more transparent, honest interviews that you get. When he sucks, he stands up in front of it, and he's been facing it since the beginning. He's one of the few guys that do that, so I really respect that. And he stood up for his teammates last night, so I really respect that too. And good luck attacking him, Lindor. Good luck trying to come after Stanton. Good luck. Addition of Trout, I think it's too late for Trout for the Yankees. It doesn't make any sense now. It made sense a couple of years ago, but not now. He's 30. What's the point of getting past, in the second half of his prime? So I love him. Believe me, he's one of the best in baseball. But I don't like him on the Yankees now. I think the Yankees need to keep doing what they're doing and keep bringing up players. I mean, like if you'd have to give up Jason Dominguez for Trout, and there's not a way in hell I would do that. I appreciate it, Clint. Thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Some keep Sanchez, don't move him. Yeah, I mean, good night to you too, man. I mean, Sanchez is if to me personally, the only way I move Sanchez is if the Yankees get somebody like a Mike Zunino, who has an option this offseason. But if it's not exercised, the Yankees can go after him. I would get Zunino. That's the only way I move Sanchez. If not, then you keep Sanchez. He's a free agent after next year. So what's the worst you get? Another 25 home runs out of him with inconsistent defense? He's got to work on that freaking pass balls, though. I hate that. And that awful tagging. It's unacceptable. But it is what it is. Laurie, I'm right with you. Right with you. I loved what he did, too. He's just stood up with his team. And look at, Francisco Lindor was like talking junk, hiding behind 10 of his teammates. That's coward to me. Coward stuff. So he's hated by the Yankees and the Bronx now. Lindor, he's going to get just mercilessly booed, and rightfully so. He deserves it. So, he beat him last night. Fine, I'll give it to him, but we hate him now. That's it. He's a bum. He's dead to us. Daniel, I don't know about the Yankees winning the World Series this year. I mean, if they went on a run and got hot when other teams got cold, I'll definitely take it. I won't complain if they win the World Series. The odds are stacked against them, but anything can happen in the postseason, man. Everybody starts at 0, so anything is possible. Voit and some prospects to the A's for Matt Olson, who's their first baseman, Alan, and some prospects. I think it's either going to be Voit and probably like a Luis Medina or somebody like that, and more prospects just for Matt Olson. I don't think the Yankees get anything back other than maybe a marginal prospect. Olson is going to get a haul. You might even have to go Voit and Torres for Olson. So, it'll sting, but then that's when you ask the A's for a pitcher as well. Because I would move them in separate trades for an offensive player and a pitcher. But if you can get both from the A's in one trade, you do it. And because Matt Olson in Yankee Stadium with that bat and that skill set, forget it. And then you have Chris Gittins backing him up. That's what I would do again. Yeah, Trout's on a monster contract. And he's got a bunch of years left. And again, he's a superstar of epic proportions, out-of-worldly. He's also missed 100 games this year with a calf strain, which is beyond me too. I think it was a calf tear, but they're just calling it a strain. Calf strain missing 100 games? I don't know about that, man. Sounds a little fish suspect to me. So it really does. Yeah, Well, it's crazy thinking of like early in the season, the Yankees were projected to go fourth place, not make the playoffs under any circumstances, and so many of those experts projected them to go fourth place and just suck. But they outplayed expectations for the most part. Yeah, and I'm glad that they did. Do I love the Yankees versus? Yeah, I mean that was a great series. I love when the Yankees play the Mets. Obviously, I'm always going to root for the Yankees, Daniel. I can never root for the Mets, unfortunately. So, but I like that. I like that 3-game series that they play. I like when they play each other all the time. And yeah, I mean, yeah, John. I mean, that's like consensus for a lot of folks is keep Voit. I mean, a lot of folks want Rizzo, but Rizzo's going to be expensive. Voit is already on the cheap for 3 more seasons. So, if there's a way you get a defensive upgrade at first base without having to spend $80 million on Rizzo, okay, and keep Voit, and then you'll maybe alternate them. But like, Voit should be rotated within first base and DH as well. And you give Stanton a day off on occasion. You give guys like Judge and Gallo a day off too. So, and that's what I would again. But Rizzo's going to cost a lot of money, but he's got leadership intangibles of the highest level. He's a great defensive first baseman. He's got a pretty good contact hitter. So, I wouldn't be upset if they re-signed him, but if they did it at the expense of pitching, I'd be pretty pissed. I think the Yankees need to invest in pitching, starting and relief this offseason significantly. Nobody like no Kyle Davies or anything. No Kevin Gausman from the Giants, even though he's pitching well. Translating from the National League to the American League to me is for a guy like Gausman is, I think he get just crushed over here. I really do. So. Daniel, I appreciate that, man. Thank you, my favorite YouTube, man. I really appreciate that, Daniel. It makes me, just motivates me to keep doing this. And, you guys, remember this, you guys make this channel better, not me. So, and I thank all of you, and I appreciate all of you. So, and I'm just kind of joining the party with you guys. So, and but I appreciate all of you watching the videos. I'm gonna keep sprucing them up. So I got a lot of stuff coming. A lot of stuff coming, man. Voit and Torres. Well, if Matt Olson and I would ask for Sean Manaea, but I don't know if they'd be able to get that. You'd have to add a Luis Medina and probably an Oswald Peraza to get an Olson and a Sean Manaea. But you never know. It's a blockbuster trade. You're giving the A's a lot of controllable players in return and salary relief, which they like because they always keep a low payroll. So, I mean, that's who I would go after, Olson and Manaea. I mean, personally, but that's what I would do. And or Olson and Matt Chapman, your third baseman, because then you can move Gio to short since Torres isn't there, right? DJ to second, and then you have Chapman in third. That would be an insane trade, like an insane blockbuster trade. So what would I be willing to give the Mets for shortstop? I don't for Mauricio, Gerald. I don't know. I mean, he's pretty well highly touted shortstop prospect. I mean, but I mean, I personally wouldn't rate him better than Anthony Volpe or Oswald Peraza. So, but then again, that's me. I don't want to stunt Volpe's development or Peraza's development because I think they could be a good second base shortstop combo. But Mauricio, I mean, if they got him, they'd have to use him. He's a stud prospect, that's for sure. So. Brian, I trade stocks in the morning in the stock market. So, and then I own a bunch of YouTube channels as well that I'm hoping to go full time with YouTube, so that I can earn an income enough for me to continue to spend the time on this channel, and continue to boost this channel and my other channels. So I've got 5 YouTube channels. So, and I also teach martial arts, and so I've been doing martial arts for 20 years. And but that's what I do. And yeah, I don't think they're going to extend Gallo right now. He's got another year. Left. So, and the Texas Rangers are paying 98% of it. So, I'm guessing they're going to keep him. I don't know if they might be able to move him for something, but it doesn't really make sense if they're not paying his salary anyway. They don't have anything to clear. They don't have anything to shed. So, but Rizzo, I mean, again, I would not be upset at all if they re-signed him. I wouldn't. So, Ryan, yeah. Toxic relationship. That's what they do. They break our hearts, and then it's like we're dating them. Yeah. Aaron, you like that, the Cougar movement, right? I don't know if you saw my last video. I'm starting a movement, the Cougar movement. So, and it's not Cougar. I'm not talking about hot older women. It's Cougar, C-U-G-A, call up Greg Allen movement. I want to get a T-shirt that just says call up Greg Allen. Why are they not calling this guy up? Why? What are they waiting for? It's like ridiculous. Yeah, I think the Yankees would definitely pursue Nicholas. I think they would pursue Scherzer, but I think he's going to sign an extension with the Dodgers because he already kind of alluded to that. He only waive his no trade clause if a team was going to give him an extension, and I can't see the Dodgers not re-signing him. I mean, my guess is they're going to wind up re-signing him and Clayton Kershaw, so they have the money, they have the payroll, and if they win the World Series this year, it makes sense for them to re-sign both. But if they don't, then the Yankees have to jump in. You absolutely have to jump into the Scherzer pool. So there's no two ways about it. But I think he wants to stay in West Coast. Yeah, just like Gerald said too. That's why I think he'll re-up with the Dodgers for probably 2 or 3 years. Now that they're going to be very likely moving on from Trevor Bauer, they'll have that money freed up. So, but yeah, I mean, like, Greg Allen's just kind of rotting in AAA right now. Let the guy come up and play as a switch hitter. He checks a lot of boxes off for the Yankees. He's a good, solid contact hitter with speed. He makes the routine plays, makes the hard plays. He steals bases. He does a lot of stuff, and he gives them versatility, just like Tyler Wade gives him versatility. He plays infield and outfield. He's a really, really good base runner too. So, and I know somebody a little while ago said, Gardner should retire. And my guess is he'll probably wind up calling it a career after this season. So we only have a couple 20 games left of. So I rather just enjoy him and maybe have a Brett Gardner day and say thank you for being a great Yankee for 15 years. You got a ring with us, and wish him well, because I don't want him blocking other players. I really don't. So, and he's going to be almost 40. So it wouldn't be fair to block other players. So, yeah, I mean, the Dodgers have a boatload of pitchers. I mean, they did give up one of their stud young starting pitchers for Scherzer. So it's kind of a swap out. So, but they've got Dustin May, they've got freaking Walker Buehler, they've got Urias, they've got flipping Scherzer, Kershaw. They're loaded. They're loaded with talent. Absolutely loaded with talent. So, but that's what happens. I mean, really good farm development as well, and but it's crazy how they're, to me, the most talented team on paper in terms of talented depth, roster, and all that stuff. But like the Giants Giants are an I can't only name like 2 or 3 guys on the Giants, and they're just outworldly right now. They're really great, and the Dodgers are great too. But like the Giants are really, really impressing. Dustin May, yeah, I mean. It would be nice to get him. It would be. I think he got Tommy John, right? So he's recovering from that. So my concern is another Tommy John project. But young stud pitcher, yeah, sign me up. So, I mean, really, it's Hicks. Well, the Yankees are going to, Nicholas, the Yankees are going to have to establish that he's healthy first before they can move him. If they do establish that he's healthy and productive, then his contract looks like an absolute steal or a bargain, and then he'll get interest. So that's the way I see it. But he's got to prove that he's healthy first and can contribute. So, Armand Volpe, that's the thing. Like, Volpe's kind of one of their he's their number one prospect now. He's shooting up through the system, and as long as they don't stunt his development, I think he'll be up. Maybe during September call-ups next year. He might be, very well. And they're going to keep developing Jason Dominguez as well, and some of these other guys. Clint Frazier, well, they've already announced that he's done for the season. I think his tenure with the Yankees is over, and I think Miguel Andujar's tenure with the Yankees is over too, unfortunately for both, because they were both good-looking, dynamic young players, and I'm really sad about how it turned out for both of them. Injuries, and I'm really sad about it. I would have loved to have seen them here for years, being young mainstays. So, Jack, hell yeah, man. Big win, bro. Welcome, Jack. Welcome, brother. And huge win, man. We need more wins like that, man. We need more wins. We have to stop losing like winnable games. I mean, they've done it so many times this year. It's just It's ridiculous. That's why they're in a position they're in now. So, you know, and the Rays are way too good. So way too good. They're similar to the Blue Jays. They're just a relentless lineup. Young, dynamic, athletic, versatile, and relentless. That's what the Yankees need, that relentless. It needs to feel like, oh, shit, man, we playing the Yankees again. Like, we need pitchers to not want to be here, not want to face the Yankees. That's what we need. And I know they don't want to face Cole, but we need them to not want to face other pitchers as well. So, but instead of signing a free agent shortstop, trade for Ronnie Mauricio, Gerald, free up that money for a stud pitcher. Well, it would, but I mean, that I wouldn't move him ahead of Anthony Volpe. I personally wouldn't. Mauricio can move to another position, maybe. If he can move to second base, then I have, you know, something worth pursuing there. You know, it's worth looking into, Gerald. It's definitely worth looking into. And yeah, Frazier's having all kinds of problems, unfortunately. So, and it's no doubt about it. I mean, Hicks he's healthy for a while, but then he has these freak injuries, like fouling the ball off his kneecap or having wrist surgery, like crashing into a wall. It's like they're kind of like Bryce Harper injuries, where Bryce Harper just hustles and he just runs face first into a wall and knocks himself out cold, and he's out with a separated shoulder, whatever it is. Like, Bryce Harper's not known for being lazy. He's known for playing too hard, especially on the field. I mean, I really wish he was here, but it is what it is. I would have loved to have him and Stanton here. It would have been really cool, but enjoy him on the Phillies. And, you know, it is what it is. But consider one of the Rockies' young starting pitchers. Well, John Gray's a free agent. I mean, I wouldn't – yeah, I would consider him, I mean, for depth, but I wouldn't put him ahead of Rodon or Ray or any of these other guys, even Justin Verlander. I wouldn't put him ahead of those guys. Trade Hicks to the PGA. He does golf a lot. He's a pretty good golfer. That's a good one. Somebody a week ago or so said to trade Andrew Heaney to North Korea. So I thought that was really funny. Really, really funny. So, and but the PGA is a good one, Lori. That's a really good one. Yeah, I mean, move Sevy to free up money. Well, I think the best way to move him is to put him in the bullpen and let him establish value. I think he'll establish value quickly in the bullpen and be pretty dominant, which would make him a very valuable trade piece that a contending team needs one more arm in the bullpen. He could be that guy instead of being a suspect of potential firearm or just danger of fire zone in the rotation. That's the way I see it. I think he's best suited right now at this point for the bullpen. And Nicholas, Harper is an animal. He's just a beast on the field. Harper is a beast, man. He's a gamer. I mean, that's why I love watching him play. He's one of those guys where I cannot take my eyes off him when he's batting. It's mesmerizing. It really is. No, I mean, that's why, Alan, you're right. We need less injury prone. We need guys that are more durable, a little bit younger, more versatile, athletic, and we can't keep like having so many guys in the DL and having to call up so many guys and then like going through options, and that's the other thing I hate about these team options. Running out of this, running out of that because he keeps getting called up and sent out. I think they should get rid of the team option thing, but I don't see the point in it. But it's if he's on the team here, he should be able to play. Period. So, and rotate, it's just like basketball. You rotate guys in and out of the game. There's no limit to the amount of times you can bring them in and out of the game. You can't be like, oh, he did 3 today, so that's it, and no more. No. I don't. That's why I think it's kind of funny, the option thing in baseball. It's something I would get rid of, and I would add universal DH, that's for sure. Put it in the National League. But and it's going to be a dirty negotiation this offseason. It always is. It's always about money and power, so yeah, I mean, Ronnie, Volpe now is top 15. It's like 12th, I think, or 13th in the top 100 now of Major League Baseball prospects. So, and Volpe's up really high, really, really high. And so is Oswald Peraza, but Volpe's the Yankees' #1 prospect. And Jason Dominguez is a little bit behind him just by a few spots, but they're both top 20 in the top 100. So, That's the first time the Yankees have had 2 in the top 20 for a little while. And really, yeah, Harper and the Yankees would have been awesome. That lefty bat just hit bombs in the upper deck in Yankee Stadium. My God, it would have been insane. I think the logic, Gerald, is if they do trade Torres, the plan is to obviously give Volpe a shot at some point. But I wouldn't rush him. Let Peraza play and then keep developing Volpe. And I wouldn't. The earliest I would bring Volpe up is a September call for next year and give him a chance, a little bit of taste, see how he does. That's what I would do. He's got to keep developing. He's young. He's only like 20 or 21. So a lot of these guys are really, really young. And Harper's got a 13-year deal, man. 13-year deal. So it's a monster deal. Trout, I think, is on a 13-year deal as well. So he's on a monster deal too. And these guys are just out-of-worldly players, man. They really do. For Toronto, had they had Springer, Darryl, I think I like you make a good point. Had they had Springer for this whole season, I think they would be in the division lead. I really feel that way. Springer's always been a clutch player, but he's been hurt most of the season. So they would have been better with him. They really would have. And then adding Berrios to that and adding some other, they would have been a much better team. And I don't know. Well, Nicholas, I don't think the Yankees are going to be a full strength in the wild card. I don't, but they'll be as strong as they could possibly be. But I don't see them being a full strength at any point in time. Unfortunately, this season is way too many guys still out, and it's unfortunate because guys that were contributors or could be contributors are not here, not playing, and it's a very mismatched roster right now. So, and we're getting lucky that a lot of times when they're losing, the other teams in the AL East are losing the wild card, and getting lucky, and then we're getting lucky for walk-off wins like this with Sanchez to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit in other areas. So, and hopefully they continue to, win, man. They need to win. It's the overwhelming majority of the rest of the games. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, Volpe is yeah, exactly, Gerald. Volpe is super high talent, and that's what I mean. Like, if the Yankees decide Volpe's not the option at shortstop, then they go after one of those studs. If they're like, nah, Volpe's going to be our guy, then you don't. You can get a stopgap for like a year or so. Let him play shortstop in the meantime, or you move Gio to short, and then you get somebody for third base, and then Eduardo Escobar, or they can go completely nuts and get Chris Bryant. So, who's also a free agent. So I'm really curious to see what they do this offseason. I really, really am. Vlad Guerrero. Yeah, I just watch. I think he might be either him or actually no, him probably. I think he's going to be the first, probably $400 to $500 million player. He's 22 right now, and I think that if the Jays are smart, they would lock him up now, just like the Padres did with Tatis. I would do the exact same thing with Vlad Jr. No doubt about it. Make sure he doesn't go anywhere. Keep his ass there. But Yankees would be happy to take him. So, and we'd be happy to have him. That's for sure. But, yeah, they're going to need to start Cole, Gerald, in the wild card game. And so, he won't be available in game one. So now you're going to have Nestor, you're going to have Tyone and Montgomery kind of doing that first round in the playoffs. So hopefully that'll be enough. And that's why, at that point, you got to have Severino and Schmidt and Kluber and Herman in the bullpen. You need a bunch of long relief guys. You do. So starters that can be long relief guys. And then obviously to give the break to some of the power arms in the bullpen. Or give the ball to them, transition it over to them. So it's really going to be an interesting next couple of weeks. So right now, Clay Holmes, I think, is ahead of Green. Yeah. He's been more reliable, and just Green's been off. And I think Green's gassed. I really do. So, Herman, Herman, I would put in long relief too in the bullpen. Let him go out and throw 3-4 good innings because he usually gets in trouble around the fourth or fifth, and get him out of there. And you have Severino doing the same thing. You have Kluber doing the same thing. Like, you can get a lot of depth and a lot of innings out of the current guys that are already on the roster in the postseason, really, and not expect the starters to go 7-8 innings every game. It's just not reasonable. It's not reasonable. It's not fair. So, but that is what it is. But, hey, the Yankees got a walk-off win today, so I'll take it. I want to thank you guys for getting on tonight. I really appreciate it. I love spending time with you guys at night and gals, and you are the best. Go enjoy your night. And for those of you who haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. It's really helpful. And be sure to hit that subscribe button too if you haven't done so yet. And share this with friends and other people that might be baseball fans. And I want to keep rocking and rolling with you guys. But I appreciate you all. Enjoy your night. I'll talk to you tomorrow.